So Bu Dian, based on what you shared with us just now, so for a company looking to eradicate its corrupted culture of bribery in its company, what are some of the key things that they will have to note to achieve ISO 37000 certification?
Yeah, they have to make everything in transparent. Yeah. So, for example, if they make like procurement activities, yeah, they have to like open bidding, yeah, inviting all participants, open the process in front of all participants. That is the sample that make like they can show that they are really serious to implement the anti-bribery management system.
So Nelly, I mean, thank you for sharing with us so much about ISO 37001. But you know, based on from my knowledge, it is at this moment still a voluntary certification. That means it's not required in many countries that companies need to have this certification in order to do business. So why do you think that it is still important to have this certification?
Okay, yes, in the world, there are countries actually they pass on some acts which is related to anti-bribery. And while ISO 37001 is a management system standard for anti-bribery, which is not mandatory, but the act that I mentioned just now, example, the Anti-Bribery Act in Malaysia, for example, this act was actually passed on last year on 1st of June 2020, where it requires all companies, not only for government, but also for private, to establish an adequate procedure to manage anti-bribery control in the company. So with this act passed on, it actually motivated or encouraged a lot of private and government sector to go for ISO 37001 certification. So when we look into ISO survey statistic 2018, it shows clearly Malaysia is among the top country in Asia Pacific where they have a lot of companies certified with ISO 37001. And I strongly believe this certification will help many organizations to comply with the act that I mentioned just now. And the act, another example, famous act that I know for anti-bribery is also in the UK. There is also a bribery act published in the UK as well. So yeah, so this is my experience that I've seen.
Okay. So Bu Dian, just now Nelly shared with us some really interesting information about the situation in Malaysia. What about you? I mean, you are one of our most senior auditors in Indonesia. Do you see something similar as well? What is the situation there?
Yeah, you know that the rating of Indonesia in corruption index in the world is very bad. Yeah, so the government issued the law regarding the national strategy to preventive of corruption. Yeah, that is why government now encourage private sector, government sector also, including the state-owned enterprise to implement anti-bribery management system. Actually, anti-bribery management system is not tools to stop the corruption, but this is to prevent the system to identify how to minimize the risk of bribery. So that is the situation in Indonesia now. Government very support all companies to implement anti-bribery management system.
So Nelly, just now Bu Dian mentioned something that was really interesting to me. So one of the top 10 things that a company needs to take note of when they are implementing ISO 37001 is top leadership commitment and their sense of responsibility for this. Can you tell us a lot more about this?
Yeah, I can give an example. Let's say Malaysia, because we have the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Act, which has been effective since 1st of June. And this legal requirement criminalize the top management. When they say top management here, they are referring to the managing director or the very top person in the company, which also include also board of director. So when we look into ISO 37001 management system requirement, where they talk about leadership commitment, when I connect together with the legal requirement, the legal requirement talks about accountability. So for me, I think no top management can escape from this responsibility. And therefore, I think in connection to the law, the leadership management commitment is definitely very, very important in order to ensure the success of the implementation of ISO 37001. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think agree with what Nelly said. Yeah, that leadership is very important. How they can demonstrate like a sample for all people below the company, like the employees, staff, clerk, etc. So without the sample from the leader, yeah, and how the leader can demonstrate the commitment to anti-corruption, the system cannot well implemented. So the leader must show they as personal behavior to demonstrate that they are uh, willing to implement anti-bribery in the organization. So that is the important thing from the leadership. Yeah. Besides the commitment, also they can demonstrate that the anti-bribery is already implanted in the personality.
So over to you, Nelly. TÜV Rheinland has over 150 years of experience in helping companies, all shapes, all sizes, all around the world to get their certifications. So maybe tell us why choose TÜV Rheinland?
Thank you. Yeah, so TÜV Rheinland, as you know, we are a leading testing, inspection, and certification services provider. Yeah? And we are also one of the first accredited bodies authorized to certify according to ISO 37001 global standard. We have very good long experience in compliance issues and regulation implementation. And we also established our own compliance standard, I think more than 10 years ago, all right? And our client, of course, they rely on us to draw maybe some cutting edge innovation and also proven technologies to provide their best solution every time. And of course, our comprehensive portfolio and services also help to ensure their success also in global market. So we have auditors, definitely able to serve in this auditing, everywhere in the world. And of course, we have international team connected, So we are, of course, ready to meet the particular client needs. So choose us, TÜV Rheinland.